Let's begin talking about ratios. So a ratio is a comparison of two numbers. Okay? It can be written three different ways. Those three different ways are we can use the word to, you can use a colon, which are those dots, one dot on top, one dot on the bottom. You see it in time to separate your hours and minutes. That's a colon. And we can use a fraction bar, like 1 to 2. However, a ratio is different from a fraction. A fraction is representing parts of a whole or parts of a set, whereas a ratio, you're actually comparing two different things. For example, we could be comparing boys versus the girls in our class, or it could be girls to the total number of students in our class. So we are looking at different comparisons. Sometimes you might be looking at the number of appetizers to the number of people at your party, things like that, which are very different types of comparisons. Let's look at these using some pictures. So here we have a group of little smiley face sort of circles. Not all of them are smiles. And they're asking us to write different ratios. We're not going to write all of these. We are going to write just a few. So let's look at this first one where it's asking for teeth versus no teeth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to count up the number of faces that are showing teeth. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like there's 9 that have teeth. And I'm going to compare that to the number that are not showing teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's 15 that are not showing teeth. Now, with ratios, you always want them to be in simplest form. So I can do this by simplifying 9 and 15 by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So this is also what we would call a 3 to 5 ratio. And you see how I got the colon there in between to separate this out. All right, so let's look at another one. Let's skip over and let's do the tongues to total. So let's look at how many of them are showing their tongues. Let's see. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I see 4 that are showing their tongue. And then total, I know I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So I know there's 24 faces. Now the ones with tongues count in the total because it's asking me for the total number of faces. So that can be simplified by 4. And when I divide that, actually, I'm going to write this a different way. Let's write this as a fraction. So we've used the colon. Let's use 4 to 24, which, of course, can also be simplified. I can divide that by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 24 divided by 4 is 6. So then that has a 1 to 6 ratio, except I wrote it in the wrong spot. So this is 4 to 24, 1 to 6. So I'm going to erase this here because those are not our smiles, those are our tongues. I just did not scoot over far enough. I'm sorry about that. You might have to erase your work a little bit or draw arrows to show where it goes. All right, so now let's do big eyes to teeth. So let's count up these big eyes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I see 12 big eyes. 2, and I'm going to erase my circles here because some of the ones that have big eyes are also the ones that have teeth. So we're going to be counting them twice, and that's okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that have teeth. So we have 12 to 9, which we can simplify that by 3. which would give me a 4:3 ratio. And we never simplify all the way down to a mixed number. It's okay for it to look improper, okay? Because you wouldn't say if there's 4:3 girls, you wouldn't say there's girls to boys. 4 girls to 3 boys, you wouldn't say there's 1 1/3 girls to boys. That doesn't make any sense. The order in which you write the ratio is very important to the meaning. Order matters. You have to keep this in your mind. Order matters. If the problem is asking you for teeth to no teeth, you would say that it's 3 to 5. If it's no teeth to teeth, it would be 5 to 3. Order matters. You've got to keep them in the right order. All right, so let's look at a word problem with this situation. In the lunchroom, there were 100 chocolate milk cartons at lunch. When lunch was over, 88 had been purchased. What's the ratio of the number of milk cartons purchased? So this is milk cartons purchased to the total number of milk cartons. So we're going to do purchased to total. Well, it tells us that 88 of them had been purchased and that there were a total of 100 when we began. Order matters. It asked me for purchased first, so that's what I give them first in my ratio. Then it asks for the total number. Now, I know I can simplify this by 4, so I'm going to do so. So that's going to give me 22 to 25 ratio. The next one asks, what is the ratio of the number of milk cartons remaining to the number of milk cartons purchased? Well, sometimes you have to do some math. So we know there were 100 to begin with and 88 were purchased. So we're going to take 100 and we're going to subtract 88, and that leaves us with 12. So we're going to have our remaining to our purchased. So it's going to be 12 to 88. And again, this can be simplified by 4. So that's going to give me 3 to 22. Okay. We're going to skip this piece, and we'll do that in class possibly. And then let's look here. This gives me a set of ratios that they want simplified. For example, 3 to 6. This can be simplified by dividing by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So in simplest form, it would be 1 to 2. I want you to take a minute, pause the video, and I want you to go in and simplify those ratios, and then we'll come back to them. All right, check your work. I put up there what I divided by to simplify. Whatever form the ratios were in, I kept them in that same form. If you changed them, that's okay. But if it was a fraction, I kept it as a fraction. If it had a colon, I kept it with the colon. The way you did it is up to you. If you have any of them wrong, please fix them so that way your notes are correct.